Hello. I can hear you.
Excellent. So hello, Enrique. First of all, welcome to Adopt AI. I'm very glad to have you on stage today. So you CEO of Fnac Darty. Fnac Darty, I don't think it needs any introduction, but still, just in case. So Fnac Darty is a major leader in retail in Europe, specialized in cultural products, consumer electronics, and home appliances. Fnac Darty is also the number 2 player in e-commerce in France. But beyond these very impressive business facts, Enrique, you're also a very committed person, as evidenced in your latest book that I bought, which is called Et si on consommait mieux? What if we consumed better? So I read through the book, and there's something that I found extremely interesting and almost very thought-provoking. You said that you want to sell less, but instead repair more. And frankly, I find this quite surprising for a retailer to say so. So can you tell us a bit more about your vision here?
Oh, thank you very much to invite me. I hope the sound is better there than here. If I understand right, I think I never say that I want to sell less. I want to say I want to have more customers and help them to have a different access to the products using all the technology, all the service we can propose them. And that's the key thing for us. And honestly, when I saw what my company has done in the last 70 years and how much we have invested in services and teams, in knowledge, I think it's the right time to put that in the center of discussions with the customer and make that a major asset to help the customer to improve their life without damaging the planet. I think this is the key thing. And if we do that well and we find the good business model to support this transition, in the end, I think we will catch more and more customers that will love to join the platform today. So we are market leaders, but it's a huge space we can conquer thanks to this positioning for the group.
That's quite enlightening. So how do data and AI can help you promote and achieve this vision of enabling a more sustainable and a more responsible consumption model? And do you have as well concrete examples of how these technologies are actually transforming Fnac Darty in terms of customer experience, in terms of operations, in terms of services?
So imagine now I say, no, it's nothing you can help for us. I don't understand nothing. Yeah, for sure. I think today, the question for the companies like us is how we can integrate that in our transformation plan. And I think all the industries, but retail in special, we are following the last 20 years a deep transformation, coming from the online first, following with all the challenges on transitional models, as we mentioned on the service, and competition is very tough. So the question for us is not to have fine things or nice or cool things to make it fun on AI, but the question is how we can choose the ones that can help us to deeply transform our business models. And we can cover some topics. I will do that. But first, what the challenge is how we can be prepared to do that. And a few years ago, we are not even in the cloud. So imagine that we can do use cases on AI before to even start doing cloud. It was, I think, very impossible. So the first challenge for us was starting this transformation a few years ago, starting moving on all applications to the new web applications in cloud, started cooperating. Was also in the moment we were integrating Fnac and Darty. So there are things we put in the right level for the company, for both brands. And that's it. I think we start in the right rhythm in the last 5 years. So now I think we can go even farther and faster. And for example, I give you probably one of my favorite ones. We decide to open all the data we collect for the last 30 years about the performance of the products, the customer solicitations on after sales, etc. And we decide to open and to create like a collective indicators to qualify the vendors and the products and users to market the products. I think it was very difficult to do it without the help of the big data or whatever. And that for us was the first start. So create this data, elaborate something we can share. And now the question is how we can improve the data with the intelligence. And that's the things we are doing now. And for example, the use case we are working in this moment is how we can qualify when a customer calls us and we have a call every 2 seconds, how we can identify what is the best solution we can propose them is different ones. The cheaper, the faster, and the more appropriate for the customer. And that's the things in the past probably would be very difficult, costly, long-term projects. And I think today that sounds more easy to put in place, for example.
And so I hear that innovation is really at the heart of DNA of Fnac Darty. So I think we all very much impacted by the revolution of generative AI. So how are you approaching this revolution at Fnac Darty? What is your conviction on this? How do you think it's going to transform Fnac Darty business model? And also, how are you supporting your employees through that revolution?
Yeah, I think the challenge was integrate that in the agenda. I think our business model is moving, and it's a long discussion, but I think a significant part of my business will come from the future for the service, for the recurring revenues, more for the transactions. And that means we are taking a big risk and changing our business model. And I think to do that, we need to be sure that we are being supported and we support all the teams with the best possible data they need to do this transformation. So this is the basic. So main effort for all the KPI performance for the company coming for the generative tools and the process. That's probably the biggest advance in the last year. And now we are moving on the 2 main topics probably facing the customer relationship. One, as I mentioned, is trying to qualify and to identify the best solution for the customer for the after sales. And the other is on the call centers, for sure. Customer service is a huge part of the cost base. And I think the things we can put in place. So the fact we start creating the conditions to move on, cloud, protection. We have several millions of tentatives of attacks every day on the systems, like everybody. So what's critical to don't create new risk, thanks to the AI and the data we make that will save seriously in the last 2 years. And now the question is how we can, at scale, and moving the organization to help all the business managers and the IT managers to introduce the AI capabilities in their journey. Not to be a separate team, but moving on the actual transformation plan for the group. And that's probably the challenge for this year. Introducing, was my challenge for the team is, I would love to have at least two huge use case with a several impact in the business company, in the business of the company. Something we can really see short-term performance improving thanks to the integration of those 2 use cases. And I think we are in the right direction.
And one last question. So this year, you celebrate 70 years of existence of La Fnac. Also, you're celebrating 50 years of selling books at La Fnac. And now today, La Fnac is actually a major driving force in the cultural ecosystem of France. But in the industry, we hear a lot concerns about people in the culture industry. They're quite concerned about AI in terms of cultural diversity, in terms of cultural creation, in terms of copyrights. So what's your position on this, and how are you basically supporting the French cultural creation, what you typically call l'exception française?
This is a huge topic for me. I think we are in the new era of creation. We call it artificial creation. That is something probably we will take more and more space in our daily life, on the digital, on other. and that's okay for me. I think we need just to create the rules to understand the impact on the whole ecosystem in the creators, for example. But it's important to don't miss the things that's different for me. Human creation, artificial creation, and when we call a book, for me a book is something that is an author behind the book. And that's the kind of things we need to be more specifics today for the customers or for the citizens. And I think in France we are very good on regulation. So I think we will put the things to create the conditions to make this market moving on. I think there's a lot of things we can introduce to complete the digital experience, to improve the access to the big catalogs, big content through the customers thanks to the AI. But I prefer to let the creation for the human and let the AI to help the customer to have access to the creation. This is my view as someone that is exposed to the technology. We use it and we sell the technology for the customers. We are market leader in hardware that I hope there will be a huge boom thanks to the AI. But at the same time, we are really engaged on the creation, on the culture market in France, and we want to keep this market really protected for the creation, for the human being. So that answer your question?
Yes, thank you very much, Enrique. I'm personally very much looking forward to how Fnac Darty is going to transform the retail ecosystem in France, especially in culture. I think many of us French people, we spent, when we were kids, hours and hours at La Fnac. So for us, La Fnac holds really something special for us. So thank you, Enrique. Do you have maybe a last word of conclusion?
I think technology is key in our life, and that's okay. And we, as professionals of this industry, we need to make them available for the larger number of people, not just for the companies. In our case, also for the end customers. And we are investing this year a lot of training and preparing all the go-to-market on the AI capabilities for hardware. And that's a good thing. I think this is something we can put in place. But we can do it in a responsible way. And I think the challenge for all of us is regarding facing the most important challenge for the humanity today is ecological transition and risk on social disturbing, how the technology can help to do it better and not worse. And I think we can contribute in a certain way. So I think this is a good challenge for everybody.
Thank you very much, Enrique. I'm looking forward to continue to work together.